Hey, vinyl community and all my music loving friends. It's Mike MGK Boston back with another video. Actually, this is just going to be it's going to be two things. I did a video a couple weeks ago just called Playlist Episode 1. It's basically stuff I've been listening to over the past week or two, and I just kind of set it aside. I'm always making notes in my notebook as to what I've been listening to. So these are just kind of selections from that I'll talk about. And I'm also going to give an update on my contest that's ongoing right now until Saturday, January 7th. So as far as the playlist current, I'm going to show a couple things that kind of maybe a couple that I picked up recently, but most of these are things I've already had in my collection for years. So yeah, including this one. This is actually not including this one. This is a recent pickup. I was just out at a local shop last Saturday and I picked this up. Lounge Lizard himself, it's Sergio Mendes. I just watched a documentary about Sergio. I just love, it's cheesy, I know, I get it. But I really dig it for whatever reason. And this is a release from 1974. Of course, it's Sergio Mendes and Brazil 77, which was his band, and the two backing singers, the two gals, the names escape me. I'll probably pull it out here and take a look. So yeah, Songs in the Key of Joy is the name of the documentary. So I think I streamed that on Amazon. Yeah, Songs in the Key of Joy, or Key of Joy, it just might be, is the title. If you Google search Sergio Mendes documentary. And surprisingly, in the documentary, there was a couple of hip hop people that were interviewed and they sample his stuff. I didn't realize that guy Coleman, he's a huge fan of Sergio Mendes, and he was in the documentary. There they are on the inside. Kind of look more like a rock band living it up here, having some sort of a psychedelic picnic. Looks like they're just kind of lounging around doing their thing. So yeah, he was like the band leader. Played a variety of instruments himself, and yeah, so that he would do mostly covers. And on this one in particular, they do a really good. There's a great cover on here of Stevie Wonder's "Superstition." Look that up. That's probably the highlight on this one. And "Don't You Worry About a Thing" is a good one too. Yeah, the two are his singers here. I'm trying to find their names here. The two gals, and they were featured in the documentary too. And he's still performing, doing his thing. It's a couple of shows at the Hollywood Bowl this summer, and there he is on the back in his younger days. But still in good health and still doing his thing. He's got to be 80 years old, if I remember correctly from the documentary. But yeah, this is just called again Sergio Mendes, Vintage 74. Not much, and he was a contract artist on the Bell label. I must have had to replace the inner sleeve the other day on that one. But Sergio Mendes. All right, and today I was listening to this earlier. It's a gloomy December rain, if you will, not to be confused with Guns N' Roses' November Rain. New England rain is colder and more miserable. I almost would have rather had snow this morning, and I went out for my run earlier, and it wasn't torrential rain like it is now, but certainly not ideal conditions. But anyway, on track here. This is perfect for a rainy, gloomy day, and it's the Cocteau Twins vocal stylings of Elizabeth Fraser. And of course, they were on the 4AD label. You can see down here. So this is like a 2-record set. This is a full-length LP. Kicking off Ivo, Lorelei, those are really great tracks. Pandora's another good one. And then it was like a bonus EP. So I listened to this earlier, and this is the bonus. Yeah, it's a 4-song EP. Ikea Guinea, Kookaburra, etc. But yeah, really great atmospheric sounds. Cocteau Twins, certainly one of the showcase artists for the 4AD label, formed by Ivo Watts Russell himself, who formed the label. And yeah, so it's Cocteau Twins. Release date on this one, 1984, and again, it's called Treasure. Really good. I bought this when it came out. I would have been a high schooler at the time. Exquisite taste I have. All right, and then last night I got into this little space rock, if you will. It's Hawkwind. So Hawkwind, original member, only core member left is a guy named Dave Brock. He's the guitarist, vocalist. They were kind of like a, this is a compilation or an anthology, volume 1, it looks like. This came out probably around 1990, 91. It was a collection of 9 tracks, their biggest, if you will. But Hawkwind fall in line with like a more psychedelic Pink Floyd, and they had personnel changes, like people coming and going. Ginger Baker played on a couple songs at one point. Lemmy Kilmister, of course, later on from Motorhead, he was in Hawkwind. If you had a family tree, it would look like King Crimson. It's all over the place, people coming and going. But again, the core member, a guy named Dave Brock. But on this one, so some of the bigger tracks here, like Master of the Universe is really good. High Rise, and of course, Silver Machine. That's probably the song they're most famous for. And again, this is just an anthology. I don't know that label, Samurai. Not sure. It was probably just a reissue or something like that. Again, I bought this early 90s. I picked this up, and then so they're like total space rock. You got to really kind of blaze one and chill out if you're going to listen to this. It'd be a tough listen for your average Joe, but if you're in the mood, it sails well through the eardrums here. So anyway, this is another one. This is from '71. Of course, this was reissued on compact disc in 1991. It's called In Search of Space. And what is on here? Yeah, You Shouldn't Do That. That clocks in at around 15 minutes. That's really good. You Know You're Only Dreaming. And of course, that song, Master of the Universe, it was on that anthology that I just showed. That's on here as well. And closes out with Children of the Sun. And of course, you can see there's Dave Brock wrote that middle one there. We Took the Wrong Step years ago. This whole thing, really great. Space, psych. It's really excellent. Yeah, so on the inside, this is classic. Technicians of Space, Ship Earth. This is your captain speaking. Your captain is dead. That doesn't sound good at all, does it? So anyway, this was a Canadian pressing of this CD. And yeah, it's Hawkwind, In Search of Space. And then I'll just show one more. So this is the one I listened to last night, and this is the one I recommend most. And one more here. This is from 1975. It's the Church of Hawkwind. Yeah, I'm not a real churchgoer, but I'd go to the Church of Hawkwind. Yeah, wild stuff. That's my loose attempt at humor there. And yeah, this is a bunch of shorter songs. It's got 15 tracks on it. You can see on the inside, that's some pretty cool artwork there. Kind of almost a little rip on the Grateful Dead Steal Your Face logo there. And just a bit on weird. They were into like science fiction and stuff, so this is just a weird story on the inside. Apparently the band was inspired by science fiction movies and stuff like that. And if you listen to Hawkwind, you'd be the soundtrack for a weird early sci-fi picture from the 60s. But yeah, this is Church of Hawkwind from 1975. Really good. And totally shifting gears. I was feeling nostalgic. Probably this was last weekend. Band from Toronto. My Canadian friends will know them. Of course, there's the lead singer down front, Mark Holmes. These guys were like Canadian, but they were trying to sound British. I remember critics saying, even in interviews, Mark Holmes had kind of a fake British accent to a certain degree, if I remember. They used to play these guys heavily on Much Music at the time. This came out in 1985. 1983. And this is their debut. And it's just called, it's Standing in the Dark. Looks like they're sort of in the dark there out in the desert. But anyway, yeah, so I saw these guys in concert in a town called Kingston, Ontario, about an hour from where I grew up. And I remember it was a busload. Someone organized a bus trip from my high school, and 40 of us or so went up there, up the highway, and saw Platinum Blonde. I can't think of who the opening band was. Might have been a band called Photograph, but I think I got that wrong. I'm really good at even remembering opening acts at shows all these years later. But yeah, this is a fun time. And again, these guys are not bad. I would consider them just like pop alternative, if you will. Standing in the Dark, the title track from this, there's actually a really good video for this, if you want to look that up on YouTube, because of course this was the video era. I don't know if these guys got any traction in the United States. Not really aware of that, but they're back together, and they actually played my hometown, a little place called Brockville, at a summer festival there. It was either last summer, had to be last summer because it was after the pandemic, or well, sort of post-pandemic. Big outdoor summer festival they have there every July, and I know Platinum Blonde because some of my old friends back there that still live there. I remember seeing posts on Facebook that they went to see Platinum Blonde. So anyway, this is their debut. The follow-up to this, called Alien Shores, is not very good. But this one has a couple of really good moments on it. Another great single on this one is a track called Doesn't Really Matter. That's another one that had a good video for it. So Standing in the Dark and Doesn't Really Matter would be your key standouts on this if you wanted to look them up. Yeah, let's see what's on the inside here. Oh yeah, there you go. That doesn't scream 1983, right? Look at that. There's the band. They were 3 pieces, you can see. Lots of hair. I'm just jealous, all right? I don't know if I'd want, if I had hair, I don't know if I'd want that hair now, but these guys, they were wearing it well at the time, and that's Platinum Blonde. So yeah, some Canadian content there for you. Pop alternative, like I say. Yeah, Platinum Blonde. All right. A slice of Americana here. That's Leon Russell. Release date on this one, 72. Just saw this out there. I've got a bunch of Leon Russell. This is probably going to be it for me. But he kind of was one of those guys. He was playing with everybody, piano man, writer, singer. And this kind of had a theme to it. This was like a concept album about being in a carnival, a carny. There he is kind of with clown makeup on the cover. There he is in the back, like, you know, he's on the road with the carnival. I don't know many carnies that had a Rolls Royce, but apparently Leon Russell did. For the purposes of the photo shoot for this cover art, at least he did. So yeah, he was a couple albums in at this point. He'd been active since the 60s, of course. And this one still came with the original inner liner sleeve, whatever, with just, you know, it's just the track listing and the personnel on the band right here on the inside. So that was nice. Yeah, and this is like a $4 record, and still had that in it, which is nice. And the record itself's in great shape. The sleeve, you can see it's got some ring wear, as that term is, but it's I don't care so much about that aesthetic, as long as the record itself is in good shape. And looks like I replaced the inner sleeve. There you can see it's right there. So yeah, the title, there's an intro here called Carney that goes into a track called Acid, Annapolis. That's side 2, but side 1, yeah, so the main single on this one, you can see right there, is a song called Tightrope, and I think he charted with that single. Side 1 is better than side 2. Manhattan Island Serenade is another good one, and Me and Baby Jane. So it's a pretty decent record. It's not the best Leon Russell album I have, but it's worth it just for side 1. And it's called, again, it's called Carney right there, right? There's looks like the ringleader there of the circus or whatever they got going on there. That's actually Uncle Sam down there. What am I saying? Ready for July 4th. So it's Leon Russell. It's called Carney. All right. And I've been on a little kick with the late, great King. He's the other king. Elvis is the king. Jerry Lee Lewis is the king. A lot of kings. Now we got a King Charles over in the UK or in England. So this is the late, great Jerry Lee Lewis. I am a much bigger fan of his country era, and this was definitely his country era. This was the year after he did his big comeback over in England in 72 or 70, excuse me, 72 or 73. And this is all country stuff. And this was recorded at the International Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. And there are a bunch of shots of him on the back. There he is jumping up on the piano. To see him live would have been a real spectacle, I have no doubt. But just a great voice for country music. You know that watch my videos. I like this vintage country stuff, like nobody's business. And yeah, it's Jerry Lee Lewis, like I said, live at the International. Some of the songs on this one, does a version of Flip, Flop, and Fly. Jambalaya, that's a traditional by Hank Williams. He does a great version of that. He opens the record up with She Even Woke Me Up to Say Goodbye, which is kind of a power ballad, really good one. Yeah, She Even Woke Me Up to Say Goodbye. Look that one up. And he does a duet on here. Actually, the version of Flip, Flop, and Fly, he does, his sister's on this, Linda Gale Lewis. She's on this. She was known to sing with him duets once in a while. So yeah, there's just, some notes about the show right there. And again, the photos of Jerry Lee Lewis. There he is live in Vegas. 73, I believe, the release date on this one. But yeah, excellent. It's probably it for me and the King, unless I could find a couple of the earlier. I've got a best of his country stuff, but I know there's more out there. You see it once in a while, but now that he's dead, people are probably snatching it up. I got that one just before he passed. So here we are with Sly Stone. Just threw this on last Sunday, having a little psychedelic Sunday, as I say. And it's Sly and the Family Stone right here. Is self-titled. I think this is their first, this is the debut. Of course, they were on the Epic label. It's a gatefold that opens up. The sleeve looks really trash, but the record's in excellent shape. I bought this at a yard sale a few years ago. So, yeah, it's really good. It's got the funk on. It's psychedelic. Opens with Stand. Of course, the big song on this was I Want to Take You Higher. But the real jam on this one is side 2, song called Sex Machine. That clocks in at around 13 minutes. That's really a really good jam. Look that up. Sex Machine, Sly and the Family Stone. Let's see what's on the inside of the record itself. Not much. That's kind of bland, isn't it? And yeah, just again, they're on the Epic label there. So Sly and the Family Stone. Oh, the name of this record is called Stand. I think it's their debut. Don't quote me on that. It could be wrong. I didn't really do any looking up anything before this video. It's all just coming from here. So I'll worry about that later. That sleeve. All right. Again, like I say, jumping around a few genres into some jazz like I do. This is a great sax player, Coleman Hawkins. This is a remastered recording, originally recorded live in 1945 in Hollywood, California. This was a sextet, I believe. Yeah, you had Hawkins on tenor sax, Howard McGee on trumpet, Charles Thompson on piano, Alan Roos on guitar, Oscar Pettiford on bass, and a gentleman named Denzel West on drums. You can see the recording date on that. You can see that February 23rd, 1945. Again, like I said, in Hollywood, California. So some of the key numbers on this one, April in Paris, that is excellent. The version of Stardust, What Is There to Say, Someone to Watch Over Me, that's a George Gershwin song. That's a really good one too. It's a nice band. It's borderline orchestra because it's a sextet. I'm not big on a giant orchestra, so you get beyond a 6-piece, you kind of lose me. There's too much going on, but there's some nice solos in here with Coleman Hawkins. And of course on the back, the whole story of how that concert came together. And again, this is a reissue on Capitol. You can see it's a Capitol Classic, Volume 5, whatever that meant. I don't know if they were re-releasing these in waves of volumes. I don't know. Yeah, I got this for a good price. And I like Coleman Hawkins, so this is good. Nice, really nice jazz record. Very traditional jazz record. That is a classic jazz record. Look that up if you like the classic jazz. So again, back to some country and western. This is Loretta Lynn. This is from 1973. Love is the Foundation. So yeah, this is just really good. She just had an incredible voice. I know I go on about Tammy Wynette once in a while, but the two of them, they could fight it out for the title. In my opinion, they're the two best female vocalists in the history of country and western. I'm going to say it. I mean it. None of these newcomers can hold up. There's a gal right now that I'm following. I don't have any of her stuff. Margot Price is her name. She's she's current country, but she is certainly not part of the new country. She's a traditionalist in the same vein as Loretta Lynn or Tammy Wynette. Again, that name is Margot Price, if you want to look up that name. But on this record, the title track, Love is the Foundation, just a beautiful song. Of course, Satin Sheets is another number on here. That was a charting single for her, definitely in the country top 40. Then she does a version on here, a real good version of the Chris Christopherson penned original. That's called Why Me by Chris. And you all know that I'm a big fan of Mr. Chris Christopherson as well. I should have pulled this before. I just thought of something else here, Loretta Lynn related. Where is it? Loretta, where are you? Oh, here it is. All right. Sorry for that, folks. I am back with Loretta. So yeah, she just passed not long ago, a month or two ago, and this was an album she did. I want to say this came out in 19. This is about 2007, of course, with Jack White. Everybody knows Jack White in the world of modern rock, and he was a big fan of Loretta Lynn, and he produced this and he plays on it. And there he is right there in the background. It's in front of an old farmhouse, and there's Loretta, a little younger. Yeah, so she had a long life. I think she was about 9 years old when she passed. But this is a really good record, and again, it's called Van Lear Rose is the title of this record. Yeah, on the front, no Jack. On the back, there's Jack, and then there's the members of the band that were playing on this. This is a really nice package too. Cool on the CD there itself there. And the liner notes. I'm not a huge Jack White fan, but I mean, when he collaborates with others, and I like his Raconteur stuff, that's all right too. But I was never a fan of the White Stripes. There's just some pictures of the band on the inside. Yeah, if you want to look up a good one from this one, the title track, Van Lear Rose, is excellent. But the duet she does with Jack White, it's a song called, Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon. So yeah, actually my wife Patty, if you were watching my contest, yeah, Patty just told me she's heading out on a business trip to Portland in the new year. So yeah, it's Portland, Oregon. Loretta Lynn, Van Lear Rose, the title of this compact disc. And I don't know if this has been re-released on album. This is definitely something that would pop up on one of those record store day things, I think, with a renewed interest in her now that she's passed. But again, that's Loretta Lynn, Van Lear Rose. I want to say 2007, the release on that one. There's her cool guitar. It's even got her name on it like that, right? Cool. All right. So lastly, I also wanted to do, like I said, I'm having a contest right now. Please come over and check it out at my channel. It's definitely not your average contest, I would say. I say that confidently because there's a really unique twist to it. You'll have to search YouTube for MGK Boston Push to 400 subscribers, and some of these entries will come up. So far, I actually have 6 entries, and I just launched the contest last Saturday. I'm really happy with it. My wife, Patty, was actually in the video. If you haven't watched it, you'll have to check it out. But Patty's been enjoying watching the videos. We've been kind of sitting there like the late great film critics Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel, and we're giving enthusiastic 2 thumbs up for all these videos. They've been terrific. So far, Jack over at the Vinyl Martini, he was first in, and he just closed up his contest where he was going for 200 subscribers, and he hit that no problem. And his contest winner was actually another guy named Mike. Berwickshire Mike is the channel. Please go ahead and check that out. He's another gentleman over in the UK, and he won. I was glad because there aren't enough Mikes in the vinyl community. Sarcasm there. Another contest entry was a kid named Jack over at Jack's Tracks. He spells tracks Trax. Ben Rankins, my friend in Melbourne, Australia. It was hilarious. Really excellent, Ben. Yeah, and I had another from Melbourne. John and Mrs. D at Down Under Tunage. It's a terrible attempt at an Australian accent. I apologize for that. Just watch that one. Another fellow, he's local here in Massachusetts, Matthew Street. He simply calls his channel Matthew Street. Please check it out. And another friend of mine, this was a really great surprise, just popped up this morning. I haven't watched the video with Patty yet. Gentleman by the name of Pat Johnson. He's actually a friend of mine from my hometown in Ontario. He still lives there. And he teaches guitar. And it looks like his wife, Krista's in the video too, and she's a local artist, ceramics, sculpture, that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. Really cool to see that, Pat, and it'll be good to see you again. And when I get back up to Brockville, we'll have some pints in the new year, hopefully. But anyway, that's my contest update. And again, they've just been really excellent, these entries so far. Very, very enthusiastic. And yeah, both Patty and I were pleasantly surprised. People really getting onto the concept because I know it's different, and maybe it was too unique for some people. But I wanted to do something different than the regular contest of here's 5 questions, which is fine. I like entering contests, but I thought if I'm only doing one contest, I wanted to make it unique. So I think I've accomplished that, or we've accomplished that, me and Patty, that is. So anyway, this is closing out just this playlist, episode 2. Again, with a brief contest update. And when I do another video, probably right up before Christmas, that's coming up on us a week tomorrow, I think. I'll probably do another video late next week. Unless someone else is having a contest, I'll throw in on that. So anyway, folks, rainy weekend here in Massachusetts, but that's what you get this time of year. So could be worse. I will see you next time. Enjoy your weekend, whatever you're doing.